Hi everyone, I'm Anne,
Brian,
and today we are gonna do a fun practice. I've called it a deeply invigorating, deeply relaxing practice that emphasizes the power of subtle practices in yoga. So today we're gonna start standing up. And not just standing up, but bouncing.
bouncing.
Good old bouncing. So bounce to your body's needs. If bouncing is hard on your spine, take your legs fairly wide and just kind of shake down like this. Or you can just shake one leg, or the other leg, or one arm, or the other arm. Or if this is easy for you, you can jump up and down in place if you need to energize yourself, or just give yourself a general and sundry bounce, whatever that means. We bounce for bone health, we bounce for release of trauma, we bounce for mood elevation, we bounce so that we make sure our muscles are not too tight from all the strengthening practices that we do in our life and in this class. So we bounce just to keep it loose and playful, because rigidity and yoga are not necessarily synonymous. So you can allow your bounce to start coming to a twist, and Brian will take us through our Tibetan twists.
So letting the bounce just become a twist. We're just going to gently twist side to side. You can let your hands gently tap the back, your back. And then we're going to add in a breathing exercise to this. So taking the elbows back, we'll take the palms out flat like we're skimming water at about chest height. And then we're going to breathe like this. We're going to inhale as we twist to the right, exhale with a shh, as we twist to the left. So continuing that breathing, let's turn the forearms up, face the palms of the head, goalpost arms. Continuing that type of breathing, let's take the arms out and down around waist height. And then we're just going to gently come back to center.
And you can bounce it off again if you need to ground yourself. At any point in this practice, if you become dizzy, or in any practice, bouncing is a great way to bring everything back into the body if you get lightheaded or any of that. So from here, let's warm up the arms a little bit, because we will be using them later for a bunch of different practices. Specifically today, we will be focusing on breathing practices. So believe it or not, the arms do come into one of them. So tucking the thumbs into the palms, wrapping the four fingers around the thumbs like this, and squeezing just a little bit to create a little bit of a pull here on the forearms. We'll start rotating at the wrists. You'll probably feel that pull a little bit stronger as you do this. And let's inhale the arms out and up. When they get to the top, we'll exhale the hands down in front of you, still rotating at the wrists. When the wrists reach right in front of your hip bones here, switch the direction of the rotation, inhaling the hands this time just straight up, and then exhaling them out to the side and down. When they get down towards your hips, you can shake them off a bit. Then from here, same thing with the hands, thumbs wrap in, fingers wrap around the thumbs, arms come out into a T. We'll just do little windmills in one direction. Hopefully not whacking your neighbor. If it hurts your shoulders to do this, you can switch directions. You can turn the windmills down. That's fine, either way. I'll shake off the arms again. You want to take us through swimming?
Yep. So a couple ways you can do this. We're going to get some rotation and motion into the shoulders. So one way is to just do this sort of swimming motion where we're rolling one shoulder then the other. If you want to get a little deeper in, you can bring the hands to the shoulders. Your choice, whatever's feeling good for you today. And then we're going to reverse the direction. And then you can just take the arms out, shake them off.
Here's the last thing for the arms that we're going to do, or possibly the last thing. Take the arms up into a T, palm face down. We're going to draw little circles that slowly spiral out to bigger and bigger circles. Again, listen to your shoulders. This is really hard on the shoulders, or you have an injured shoulder, just take it easy. Don't have to go your furthest extent. And then when you're ready, arms come back out into a T. Same thing, just take the circles the other way. Rotating out the bigger and bigger circles. Whew, this is hard. And then palms face up, same thing. Little circles that rotate out to bigger and bigger circles. And then palms face out, take it the other way. Rotating little circles that sweep to bigger and bigger circles. And then you can really let the arms kind of flop and dangle and just rotate from the shoulder here by turning the hand back and forth to loosen any tension through the deltoids, through the rotator cuffs, through the upper trapezius, what have you. What do we do next? I'm trying to remember. We taught this class yesterday, and it was such a fun class that we had to teach it again. I can't remember.
I know at some point we did stuff for the hips.
We did sun salutations, so why don't we do those? So coming to the front of the mat, warm up the spine a little bit. You have the big toes touching with a little bit of space between the heels if you like, or you can have the feet at hips width distance. We'll inhale the arms out wide and up. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to keep your low back happy. When you're ready, inhale up halfway. If your back is rounding like mine, bend the knees again. Keep the spine nice and flat here. This is flat back. Tuck the chin to keep the cervical spine, that's the neck, nice and long. And on your next exhale, exhale, folding forward, plant the hands next to the feet and walk the feet back. Now again, if your back is rounding here in plank, take the heart down, have a nice, flat, long spine. And if this is hard on the body, you can always take the knees down for half plank. Either way, after holding plank for just a little bit longer, you can come down either by a chaturanga, which Brian will demonstrate, or knees, chest, chin, which I will demonstrate. On your next exhale, knees, chest, chin. So my tail is up here. Then I'm going to inhale the tail down. Heart comes up for just a little baby cobra. So small you can take your hands off the mat. On your next exhale, we'll come back down. Inhale the hands and knees briefly. Tuck the toes. Exhale to downward facing dog. A traditional resting posture in some yoga practices. If you need a resting posture that feels more restful than this one, you can always bring both knees down, sit the heels back for child's pose. That's another option too. But either way, if you're in downward facing dog, feel free to pedal one heel down and then the next. Stretching it out. Make sure that your shoulders are tracking towards your tailbone here, so they're way up by your ears like this, but you have a nice long neck here. You might even need to put a little extra weight into your hands to achieve this. And then when you're ready, you can look forward towards your hands and gently just walk up towards a forward fold, keeping the knees as bent as you need to. exhaling forward. On your next inhale, come back up to flat back again, bending the knees with knee gate to keep the spine nice and long here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come out wide and up. Slight back bend. Exhale, palms to chest. Samastitihi. Brian's gonna teach the second one.
We'll start with palms down. Tadasana stance. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees if you need to. Bringing the hands to the shins. Inhale, coming into a flat back. We're going to place the hand, exhale, place the hands on the mat, step back to plank, high plank position, and we'll take a couple of breaths here. And then it's going to be your choice, either knees, chest, chin, or coming down flat body, chaturanga. Either way, keep the elbows hugging in tight as you exhale, coming down. We'll inhale into cobra. You can go a little higher if you want, or you can even come into upward facing dog if you want. And then we're going to exhale, tuck the toes, we'll raise the hips, we'll come into downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here in our downward facing dog. And then looking up at the top of the mat, you can walk, step, float, jump, whatever you like to do to come to forward fold at the top of the mat. We'll place the hands on the shins, inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold again. And then with the next inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, coming all the way up to standing, palms touch overhead. Exhale, palms to heart center. And then you can release. Coming into Tadasana, we'll just stand here for a few moments. You can feel free to close your eyes if you like.
Or you can keep them open and I'll go over the principles of mountain posture with you. Tadasana. Tadasana is Sanskrit for mountain posture. So it's not just a stance, like, okay, here I am. I'm in Tadasana. There's a little more to it than this. So start with the feet, either big toes touching, with a little bit of space between the heels, so you're really keeping the outside of the feet parallel here, or you can have feet about hips width distance, which, as I said before, is 2 fists width distance between the arches of the feet, like that. Again, the outsides of the feet are parallel here, so it might even look like your toes are pointing in a little bit. That's okay. From here, stick your tail out. Yes, this is not proper Tadasana form, but what this is doing is encouraging an inward rotation of the legs. Then from here, hop the tail, which encourages an outward rotation of the hips. Like that. Then from here, turn the palms out, which encourages an opening of the heart. But if you notice, easy to open the heart here. Take your hands to the ribs, hug the ribs down. You don't want the heart shining up all the way at the ceiling. So there you are. Then let the chin rest just parallel to the ground. So the neck is nice and long here. That is your Tadasana. You close your eyes here. Resting in the posture for a second, finding your seat of meditation in this specific asana or posture. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your hands overhead. Step back so you can see what I'm doing with them. And then let's exhale out to the right. So my arms are pointing towards the right. I'm going to take my right hand down and press into my right hip to give myself a little extra bend to the right here. And then on your next inhale, we'll bring the right arm up, come back up. Exhale the hands to the left this time. Slide the left arm down. Hello. To the left hip. Pressing into the left hip to give yourself a little extra here. Inhale the arms back up. You can bring them down on an exhale to prayer, and then take them to the low back, either fingers pointing down or up. We'll inhale the heart up towards the ceiling. So if you have a hyperflexible back, and it's easy for you to go way back like this, try to hold yourself back, even though I hate to say things like that, and really just point your heart up towards the ceiling. This is a back bend for the thoracic spine and the cervical spine. That's the upper back and the neck. And then when you're ready, you can slide the hands over the hips, coming back down to a forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need to protect the low back here. And once you're down, if you want to grab opposite elbows and just gently sway side to side, that's totally fine. And ragdoll, as they call it. And then when you're ready, we'll just roll back to standing, shake it all off, and we'll warm up the hips a bit because we're going to do some squats today. So we do want our hips to be pretty happy for that. So feet come to about mat width distance, or maybe a foot and a half apart. Hands can come to the hips if you like. And we'll just start taking hip rolls. This is hard on your hips if you're recovering from hip surgery or anything like that. You can bring the feet slightly closer together and focus more on bending one knee and then the other as the hips go around. Just gently. Now when you're ready, if you're ready, I could do this all day, honestly. When you're ready, we'll take the hips the other way. Brian's going to show us figure eight.
So we'll come back to stillness. We're going to do some figure eights with the hips. You can leave your feet where they are, or I like to step them in just a little bit. Now we're going to do figure eight. So this is taking one hip forward and then back, and then the other hip forward and back, making a figure eight, shape of a figure eight with the hips.
If you want to involve the arms again, I know I said we were done with arms, but it does kind of feel nice to do a backstroke here, lubricating the spine and the low back.
And then we'll switch the direction. So now we'll take a hip from back to front, and then the other hip back to front. So switching the direction that we're doing that figure eight. And if you want to add in the arm exercises again, this time you will swim forward. And then we can just slowly come back to stillness again. Feel free to shake it out.
All right. Anything else we want to do before squatting? Oh, we did do balancing. You want to do that first?
That,
or
and I
after?
also did,
Oh, you did. Let's do those. Swaying palm tree.
palm tree. So coming into, again, a Tadasana type stance with the feet, nice tall spines. We'll take the arms out into a T, and we're going to inhale, go to one side, stretching one side, opening, make the arms like you're grabbing a giant beach ball. Inhale back, exhale back through center. Inhale to the other side, opening up, grabbing that giant beach ball. Exhale back to center. So we're just going to go back and forth, inhaling as we reach, exhaling as we come back through center. We're expanding the side body, breathing into the rib cage. Gotta keep your body nice and tall while you're doing this. So we're not just collapsing from one side to the other, but we're reaching up and then spilling over like a water fountain. And then we can just come back Maybe one more. So we're doing it all equally on both sides, and then shake it out. Now we will do one balancing posture. We're gonna do tree. So bringing the feet, the big toes to touch. Again, nice tall stance. The reason we went over Tadasana stance is that's going to help us stay steady in our one-legged balancing postures. So let's start with the right hip. We're going to turn the hip and the foot out to the side. And then your choice, you can bring the foot either to the ankle, you can bring it to the calf. Do not put it on the knee. If you want to keep going higher, you can bring it to the thigh. And if you're one of those people that can do this, you can even bring it to the hip crease. You point the knee
For half lotus.
towards the earth for half lotus. Now, once you've decided where you want to be, I'll stick it here for now. You can take the arms wherever you like. You can have them out to the side. You can have them in prayer. You can have them up overhead, extending the branches of your tree. And if you sway or fall in and out of this, that's fine. You can just keep coming back. A couple of points to help make this more sturdy and steady. If you're having problems with your balance, is to maybe find a spot on the floor that's not moving. Maybe don't look at us if we're swaying a little bit. And so looking and gazing at a steady spot will help. Also, keeping the tailbone tucked helps with the stability as well.
If this is easy for you, try looking up. And if that is easy for you, bring your head back to neutral and try closing your eyes. Woo! That's not easy for me.
And when you're ready to come out of your tree, you can just step the foot out, shake them out. Shake the hips out, shake the leg out.
Shake it all out.
Oh, crazy. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So first coming into that nice, steady, tall Tadasana stance, we'll now open out the left leg and the left hip to the left side. And your choice again, bringing the foot to the ankle, the calf, the thigh, not the knee, or into half lotus. And then again, you can, once you've found that one-legged posture, you can take the hands wherever is best for you, whatever's doing it for you today, to the side, prayer, extending your tree branches, whatever you like to do.
Gazing at your point on the ground for stability. That is called in Sanskrit drishti.
Keeping that tailbone slightly tucked, so we're having a nice tall spine, nice steady base.
And if this is easy for you and your arms are extended up like this, feel free to look up at the ceiling or the sky. If that's still easy for you, bring the chin back to parallel with the ground and close the eyes. Not easy.
And when you're ready, you can just gently step it down. Again, feel free to shake out the leg, shake off the hips, whatever.
Do all the crazy dances like Elaine from Seinfeld. A reference I never thought I'd make in a yoga class. Squats, hooray. The power of yogic practices are reflected in beithak, which are Hindu wrestler squats. So there are two ways to do this. You can either do a half squat, where my feet are about hips width distance, maybe slightly wider. But the key here is as I squat down, my knees are tracking right over my feet. They aren't coming out to the side or folding in like this. They're staying parallel like that. So a half squat for beithak will look like this. I'll show from the side. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So as I inhale, I squat down, the soles of my feet stay completely flat on the ground. So it's just sitting back, exhale. If you want to be real fussy about it, you can squat back so that you can still see your toes below your knees, like in Utkatasana, awkward chair pose. But that's not completely necessary because as you'll see, when you do a full squat, which looks like this, I'm going to bring my feet a little closer to hips with distance for this one. Inhale, exhale. So my heels come up and my knees do come over my feet here. So I'm coming all the way down into a low squat. So we're gonna do 10, it's your choice. I'm gonna do a low squat, but you're gonna get just the same benefit if you're doing the high squat too. So whatever feels most comfortable for you. When you're ready, inhaling deeply to prepare. For me to catch my breath, exhaling completely. And on your next inhale, we'll begin. Lovely. Shake it out. Squats can be real intense on the psoas muscles. So what we're going to do now is either come to a wall or do this in the middle of the floor. We're going to just swing out the legs. So whichever leg is further from the wall, I'm holding onto the wall just for balance. Let it swing back and forth. You can let the arm kind of swing opposite to the leg. So as my leg goes back, my arm comes forward. Very nice. And then you can take that leg and just shake it out to the side. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side, turning around. Swinging the leg. And then when you're ready, just shaking that leg out. Shaking everything out one last time before we come all the way down to the ground for 3 different breathing practices. One of them is a shatkarma, if you remember from last week, our cleansing exercises. Feel free to grab your blankie. This is a great practice to have something to sit on, like a folded up blanket. So if you need to go get one of those, feel free. You can have a seat, and I'll tilt this down so that we can see him better. There we go. So whatever your comfortable seated position is, feel free to come into it. And that can be soles of the feet together like this. That can be just plain old crisscross applesauce easy pose. That could be auspicious pose where you take one leg out, bring the sole of one foot to the inner thigh of that leg, let it fall, and then bend the other knee, and either let the other foot sit in front of the shin here, or on top of the shin, like this. Or if you can keep a nice straight spine with the legs extended, great. But the key here, and in all breathing and meditative practices, is suspension of the spine. So keeping the spine nice and long. So whatever is easiest for you to do that. And from here, we will do kapalabhati breathing, which you will recognize from last week if you took that class. So kapalabhati breathing is a forceful exhale, passive inhale. And what it is I draw the navel towards the spine as I exhale, and then just release the abdominal muscles, and the inhale happens naturally. So to show you what that looks like. So that's kapalabhati, or skull shining breath. So we'll do a couple rounds of prana mudra to begin with, to sort of sweep out the energy, and then we'll do 3 rounds of kapalabhati with breath retentions on the exhale as well afterwards. If you have high blood pressure, do not practice breath retention. Breathe naturally. Let your breathing come to stillness in between these rounds of kapalabhati. I'll remind us that again. It's more pertinent. So when you're ready, inhaling the arms out wide and up for prana mudra. Exhaling, pushing the hands down in front of you. Again, inhaling the arms out wide and up. Exhaling, pushing down. Hands can come to the knees, palm face down, or possibly palm face up. First finger and palm to touch, and chin mudra here. That is fine. We'll inhale, 3/4 of the way to begin our first round of kapalabhati breathing. On your exhale, feel free to exhale all the way and just fold forward, holding the air out as long as it's comfortable. That might only be a few seconds for you, which is totally fine. When you're ready to inhale, we'll inhale, come back up towards your seat. Exhale when ready. And now we'll inhale and hold. And again, as I said before, if you have high blood pressure, just breathe naturally, close your eyes, and notice the sensations within your body. If you do not, lift your chin a little to take a deep inhale from the pelvic floor, belly, ribs, upper chest. And then when you're ready to hold that inhale, tuck the chin to engage Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock. So when you're ready. When you're ready to exhale, lift the chin. You want to select it?
Yep. So let's just do a couple of rounds of prana mudra first, just to sort of clear everything out. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, sweeping arms up overhead. Exhaling. And then we'll inhale 3/4 of the way to begin our second round. Exhale, completely emptying. You can even fold forward if you like when you do this. Feel free to hold the breath out of the body, or and bring it and finish this for a second. When you're ready to inhale, straighten up to come inhale back up. Exhale completely. And then we're going to inhale and retain the breath at the top of the inhale. And again, if you have high blood pressure, just breathe gently. And if you're retaining your breath, go ahead, lift the chin, exhale.
When you're ready, we'll sweep the arms out wide enough for 2 more rounds of prana mudra, or gesture of life force. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, pushing hands down. And this time we'll do our final round of kapalabhati. I should mention, if you get lightheaded or dizzy in any of these breathing exercises, breathe naturally, or you can take 3 quick inhales like this, and then breathe naturally to help bring a little extra oxygen to the brain. So whatever feels best for you. So inhaling 3/4 of the way, we'll begin our last round of kapalabhati breathing. When you're ready, exhale completely, folding forward, holding the breath out of the body for as long as it's comfortable for you. When you're ready to inhale, inhale, coming back up to seated. Exhaling. And on your next inhale, we'll hold the breath. So maybe lifting the chin a little bit, inhale deeply. Hugging the chin to hold the breath. Lifting the chin, exhaling when you're ready. You just clean your lungs. Way to go. So if you need a little break for the legs, feel free to put the hands behind you. Take the legs out in front of you and just let the toes swing back and forth. You can barely see mine, but you get the idea here. There you go. Letting the legs rotate from the hip sockets for a second, because we're going to do a couple more breathing exercises here before we get into some hip openers and final relaxation. So again, folding the legs. If you had your feet in auspicious pose last time, this time fold the opposite way. So this time I'm taking my right foot to the inside of my left leg, and my left foot to the outside of my right shin. So bhastrika, I'm actually going to move back a little bit to show this one so you can see what my arms are doing here.
So we don't whack each other.
That too. This is a very whack happy posture. So kapalabhati is a active exhale and a passive inhale. Bhastrika, which means bellows breath in Sanskrit, is a active exhale and an active inhale. It's an extremely powerful breathing technique. It can be done through the nose or through the mouth. If you are doing it through the mouth, you are free to make the sound ha as you do it. I'll demonstrate it really quick. So I'm going to take my arms overhead, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. We're only going to do a few rounds of this because, as I said, we'll do 3 rounds, but only a few practices of bhastrika. Because, as I said, it's a very powerful practice. If you would like to do more, you can, but be mindful. Don't push yourself too hard. You're going to feel stuff moving and stuff coming up. It's a great practice for early spring, which we're kind of in right now. It's been a cold spring, so even though it's mid-April, it's kind of an early spring here in Baltimore. So when you're ready, let's do 2 rounds of prana mudra first to prepare. Sweeping the arms out wide on the inhale. Exhaling, pushing hands down. Inhaling, sweeping the arms out wide and up. Exhaling, pushing hands down. This first round of bhastrika I'm going to do through my nose. You can do it through your nose or your mouth. When you're ready, we'll inhale the arms above the head. All right, that's great. No, we want to do more. It's very stimulating. Let's let it smooth out a bit. Again, we'll do 2 more rounds of prana mudra, sweeping the energy clear. Inhaling. Exhaling. You might have noticed when I do prana mudra, as I inhale, I lean forward and my head goes up. As I exhale, I lean back, rounding the back slightly, and the chin comes towards my chest. So there's a little bit of an energetic pump to this. Again, I'll show that from the side really quick. Just for reference, because we teach prana mudra a lot. So in if you want to practice like that, you're welcome to. Second round of bhastrika. This time I'm going to do it through my mouth. Maybe not making any noise. I'll say ha this time. Extra. If you would like to do more this time, you can. I'm going to do 5. When you're ready, inhale. Very nice. Breathe naturally for a second. Grounding yourself. Last round, we'll do 2 more rounds of prana mudra, gesture of life force, and then our final round of bhastrika. I'll just lead us right through it. I'm going to make a loud ha kind of noise, and for this final round, I'm going to do 7 practices of bhastrika. So it's up to you. You can do only 3, you can do 5, you can do 7, you can do none, whatever feels right.
Oh, wait.
Not yet.
Got ahead of myself.
It's okay. Prana mudra, inhaling, exhaling, and now bhastrika. Ha! 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 Very nice. This time, let's take the hands behind us, bring the soles of the feet to the ground in front of you, and just let the knees rock side to side, loosening up the low back. I call this class the power of subtlety, but that's not a very subtle practice. But it's powerful. You can take the legs out in front and just sort of bounce the knees up and down to further shake out the hips. And again, maybe switch the crossing of the legs for this final breathing exercise, which is a traditional pranayama practice called nadi shodana, or nadi shodana translates to the cleansing of the nadis. Nadis are energetic channels that run through our body, sort of corresponding to the lymph in Western medicine. But nadi shodana is also known as alternate nostril breathing. So you can take your left hand into chin mudra like this, bringing the first finger and the thumb together, the first finger representing the personal me, the thumb representing the universal everything else. The joining of that, or the yoking of that, is essential to the practice of yoga, which translates to yoking. So that's all happening in your left hand. Your right hand can come into what's called Vishnu mudra, named after a Hindu deity. If this is hard for you to bring the first 2 fingers to the pad of the thumb like this, feel free to keep the first 2 fingers extended, but together, and rest them on the forehead center as you do this practice. I'm going to come forward a little bit so you can see my face is doing here, because that's where all the action really is. Even though I'm taking all this time to describe the hand postures. So what I'm going to do is take my hand in front of my face, close off my right nostril, inhale through the left for a count of 4, close off the left, so both of them are shut here. Hold for a count of 8, and then lift the thumb off the right nostril and exhale through the right nostril for a count of 8. Then I'll inhale through the right nostril for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 8. Exhale through the left for a count of 8. So you get the idea. I will have minimal vocal cues for this, so hopefully it makes sense. So when you're ready, let's close off the right nostril, inhaling. Hold. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Hold. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Last breath. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Release the hands. Breathe naturally. Notice any changes in the body or the mind. And we'll do one hip opener, a spinal twist, and come right into shavasana. So let me tilt this back up. We can head back to our mats. There we go. That is the power of subtlety. We do this very subtle breathing exercise. And now I feel totally relaxed, even after all that jumping around and going nuts and squatting and waving my arms around, shouting ha. So, bound angle, do you want to teach it?
Yeah.
I asked this to teach. Do not forget to hydrate.
So we can bring the feet to touch. Knees are wide if it's more comfortable for you to have your feet a little further away. You can if it's comfortable for you. Have them in close, that's okay too. We're gonna just sit up nice and tall, with a nice tall spine here. Gonna move to the side and move out some of the meat.
The abundances, as they call it.
And then if you like, you can inhale and exhale, gently fold forward, keeping your back sort of straight. As we get further down, you can feel free to sort of round the spine. And also, some people find it easy to kind of work their way down, like an awesome teacher of mine always says, imagine a leaf in the fall falling down towards the ground. And just keep breathing here.
If this is very easy for you and you want to get deeper into this, you can walk one hip back and then the other to lengthen the low back here.
When you're ready to come back up, gently walk the hands back, come up. Let's bring our hands behind us.
You can hook the hands
Yes.
underneath the knees first if you like.
Yes. Let's put the hands on the knees and close them. Then put them behind us. Then let the knees gently fall side to side. And then we're going to make our way down onto our mat.
So from here, keep the knees bent like this and just come on down onto your back. You can draw the knees up towards the chest and just let the hips rock side to side. Floorboard's groaning beneath me. That means I'm doing it right. And then if you want to do a spinal twist, feel free to take the arms out into a T. You can bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. Bump the hips to the left just an inch. Draw the knees back up towards the chest and let the legs fall one on top of the other to the right. If your left shoulder is really coming up from the ground here, you can lift that right shoulder a little bit, bring the left shoulder down, and then the right shoulder down, and then looking out over the left shoulder. It also helps to lift the knees a little bit off the ground to keep the shoulders both attached firmly to the ground. Or if you want to make this extra restorative, you can take your folded up blanket and fold it a little more and let that rest under the knees as you look over your left shoulder. We'll bring the knees back up, center the hips on the mat. This time, press into the feet and bump the hips an inch over to the right. Take the knees up towards the chest. Let them fall to the left. Maybe resting the knees on a blanket. If your right shoulder is coming up off the mat, lift the left shoulder, bring the right shoulder down, then the left. Maybe lifting the knees a little off the ground if needed, or supporting under the knees with a folded blanket or block. And you can look out over your right shoulder for a spinal twist on the other side. Pull back to our backs. Centering the hips. Doing any final movements you need to do, which might be a yoga posture, or it might be putting on your socks. Both teachers went right for their socks because we have a late spring here. Not quite warm yet in Baltimore. On its way. So make yourself comfortable. Take water if you need to. Get a blanket and unfold it and cover up if you need to. And then for shavasana, final relaxation, you can take one foot towards one corner of the mat, the other foot towards the other corner. One arm comes straight down from one shoulder, the other arm does the same. And if you're like me and you wear glasses, feel free to take them off and put them somewhere to the side where you know you won't roll over on them. I'm going to tuck my tail a little bit here, lengthen the lumbar spine and go back. I'm going to tuck my chin just a little bit here to lengthen my cervical spine or my neck. I want my eyes pointing straight up, then I'll close them. And if you like, you can lift your heart an inch off the ground, tuck the shoulder blades together, and let the heart come back down. From here, we'll let the breathing become natural, the eyes closed, body rests. Having all the beneficial effects of this vitalizing and relaxing practice. So right in.
can start to bring your awareness back to your body. Bring your awareness back to your breathing. You can deepen the breath. You can start to wake up the body by moving the toes and the fingers. Maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles a little bit. You can turn your head side to side. So we're going to get really long on the mat. So let's bring our legs together. Press out through the heels. We're going to interlace the fingers, turn the palms away towards the wall behind you. Inhale as you press out through the heels, press out through the palms, stretching really long on your mat. And then one last time, we'll bring the knees into the chest, hug everything in. You can rock a little here if you like. Eventually, we'll all make our way up to seated. So however you like to get there, if you want to roll off to the side and gently push yourself up from there, or if you just want to just rock straight up, whatever you like to do. Coming to a comfortable seat on your mat for just a few more moments here. We're going to seal the practice in by doing a couple more rounds of prana mudra, and then we'll make the sound Om if you care to join us. So let's inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, pressing down. Inhaling overhead. Exhaling down. One more time. We'll inhale overhead, let the palms touch overhead. Exhaling palms to heart center. If you care to join us in making the sound Om, feel free. We'll take a deep inhale. Thank you for joining us today. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.
Thank you much. I'm making the executive decision because we have some travel coming up. We will teach this class again next week, and then I think that might be the last one for a little while. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to donate, we also really appreciate that because this is something we do as a labor of love. If you have any messages, feel free to type them into the comments, or you can message us through our YouTube channel. That's fine. And if you're in Baltimore and you want to practice with us in person, we teach a class every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. at the beautiful new Cahill Rec Center, which is literally within walking distance of this room.
And it's free.
It's free. The Rec Center is at 4001 Clifton Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21216. So thank you very much.